It's all dirty. Oh my god, there's a frog in here. He's jumping. Oh, here he goes. Hi guys, welcome to my garden. Ever since I moved in here, our goal was to kind of grow a food forest, and most of these trees aren't going to grow and be big enough to develop fruit for probably another 5 to 20 years. But today I'll show you what we've planted, and since our backyard's not that big, I kind of had to pick and choose what I wanted to plant. Most of these trees are exotics, and they're mostly originated from Asia. Since my boyfriend is Chinese, his relatives usually have these trees in their front yard or backyard, so over the years I've been learning to love them, and ever since I've tasted them, I was like, I want to have my own land so one day I can grow a giant food forest. But since these trees take like 5 to 20 years to develop fruit, since they are pretty short right now, but they're grafted, so it might take a shorter amount of time. But yeah, I'll show you guys around. We went ahead and put lights around the perimeter of the garden so that at night we can see the plants and the cameras that we recently installed. These are solar powered, so they should last, I think, 2 to 5 years. So we don't have to charge them or anything. We just kind of took them out of the box and stapled them into the ground. But I'll show you our first plant of the day. So this is our lemongrass. Most of our plants we get are from the flea market that's about a couple miles away. So this is a Chinese or Asian known plant. You can put it on soups, and it also has a lot of medicinal properties, so you make tea with it to help when you're sick. And then this one, we try to put little edges around the plants to kind of give them a pretty look, and so that when we're weed whacking around them, we're not, destroying the mulch. But this one, it used to look a lot better. Apparently the ants could smell the sugar in the leaves, so they went ahead and started making their colony on them, which turns the leaves black. So I'm just hoping this one kind of makes it. Its friend that I also planted died, so this is like the last one I have left. If not, I'll have to either get a different one from a nursery, or I'll plant one from seed again. But it used to be really big, but this is how it's looking right now. And then this one is just one of my flowers that I got. Eventually I want to turn this into more like a butterfly and bee pollination here to kind of help pollinate the fruit trees once they start developing flowers in the spring, and then they turn into fruit. So the more bees that you have, they'll pollinate the flowers, and the flowers will turn to fruit. And this one is my banana tree. We got this one from Walmart, and it had a baby with it. They say to take out the baby when you have a mother plant because it kind of steals the nutrients from the mother, but I just didn't want to kill off a plant unnecessarily, so they're letting them grow. They've had this one about, I'd say 8 months now. I think it was up to here originally, so it's grown maybe a foot, but I'd say every month or so it grows a new leaf through the center, and then it'll curl up and then it'll sprout. And usually they take turns, like the mama will grow a new leaf and then the baby will grow a new leaf. And this happens every week in the spring and summertime. But since it's winter now, I'd say every month they develop a new leaf. I noticed that we have these stakes in. So when Hurricane Milton was coming, I recently just got off of a cruise. We were like, crap, there's supposed to be a Category 5 coming. It's gonna take off people's roofs. And I was like, I just planted all these fruit trees and they're kind of expensive. So we went ahead and put stakes in that we got from Lowe's, hammered them down into the ground because the soil is pretty tough out here because it is new construction. And then we just wrapped the rope around. Held up pretty well during the hurricane. We did that with all the fruit trees. And so far, they're doing good, so no complaints. This is my pride and joy papaya. I'll put a picture here of what it used to look like. This is kind of devastating because I was growing this back in 2021 and started on a pot. We moved a couple times with it, and then eventually we put it in the ground at my mom's house, and it just blossomed because her soil is kind of sandy. And then it had about 35 fruit on it when we moved it here, and my dad helped me stake it down to the other plants so that it wouldn't fall over while the roots were taking place. But as you can see, it's really rotting. If you feel the trunk, it's squishy and the bark is coming off. Eventually we're gonna have to just either let it fall down naturally, or we're gonna cut it and replace it with a new one that I'm growing. You can feel the water inside. Inside of a papaya trunk, it's hollow and it has about this much of water, and the outer walls are about 2 to 3 inches. So that's how it sends the nutrients up to the fruit. But right now it's not holding up well. And this is Mango. We got her from the flea market as well. I'm not sure what the variety is, but my boyfriend's uncle has a very, very good tasting mango in his front yard. So our goal, when the branches get thick enough, we're gonna go ahead and try to graft his onto ours so it grows the exact same fruit as his tree. This one, when we got it, it was like about this tall, and it just had leaves coming out, so eventually it stemmed off, and now it's got pretty good leaves. It's doing pretty well. It's held up in the 30-degree weather that we've had recently. Sometimes they say to cover the plants in winter time, but I think it's doing pretty well. I water it every day, so it seems to like it. And then we have our dragon fruit. We built these trellises out of a, what is this, a 4x4 post, and then we had 2x4s that we cut 5 times, 1 in the middle, 4 on the side, and then we planted about 2 plants here, and then the other trellis has 1 plant. Before, they were growing on the walls of my house, and then I was like, I want these to, like, you know, to branch out and develop more. So they kind of learn where they are. They grow these roots so they know where they are, and they like kind of attach on so they know that they can climb up. So right now I need to tape this one up. I have these plant tape to kind of hold them so that they can be supported and grow up the trellis. This one grew pretty well up here, and then you can see this is how it sprouts. This one will get as thick as here once maybe a couple weeks from now, and then it eventually will grow all the way down here, producing fruit sometime next year. This is the purple variety. It's not the white one. I personally like the purple better. The white one kind of doesn't have flavor to me, but they say sometimes in order for the purple and white to grow, they need to have purple and white in the same pot so they can pollinate with each other, but this is just purple. And this one's kind of leaning over. We need to just push it back and put more soil on the side because the ground is not level. I think that's why she's pushing this way. We just have some random flowers here that aren't doing too well. I don't know what these names are, but I thought they were pretty to put around the base, and eventually I want to put these around my backyard. It's like a pink one, and there's a red one here. There's sage, and then there's like a purple flower. This marigold died, unfortunately. Whenever I go on vacation for maybe a week, and I come back and I find out that they died, I'm like, well, what can I do? It didn't rain. This is my shampoo plant. I got this from Etsy. So they gave me about 3 different rhizomes, and I put them in a pot. They didn't grow for a year, and I kind of forgot about them. And then one day I was like, what is this plant here? And I brought it to my house, and one year they actually grew the rhizome here, and then you can squish it and make shampoo. Back in Hawaii, they have these plants all around, and the girls would actually wash their hair and then rinse their hair with the waterfalls nearby. But for this, I don't have a waterfall. But I just plan on, you know, having it here because it's pretty. Usually the leaves are much darker, but since it's winter time, this will usually cut back. All of the leaves will fall off, and then once it's summer, springtime again, all of it will shoot back up. This is as big as it's ever gotten, but we didn't get any rhizomes this year. And this is sugar cane. One of my neighbors gave me this from his backyard. Pretty interesting how they grow. They kind of just chop it at the base, and then you plant it sideways in the ground and it shoots up vertically. I don't have a sugar cane processor, so how you would eat this is you can eat the leaves or like put it in a soup or a tea, and then the actual sugar cane itself has a lot of juice in it, and you just use your teeth, like your back molars, to get rid of the stalk, and then you can get to the juice and you just chew on it and then spit out the remaining solids. This is my papaya that I'm growing ever since the other one is passing away. I think I'm growing this one for 2 months now, and it's doing pretty well. I just put it in this pot, so eventually it'll get bigger, hopefully. And papayas, they can either be girls, boys, or bisexual. So this one, if they're a male, it'll have different flowers, and these can help pollinate the girls. The one here was a bisexual because it didn't have a male papaya nearby, so it pollinated itself and it grew its own fruit, which was really good, and it was a really great producer. I've never seen a papaya plant that had that many papayas on it, and they were the type of shape that was nice, and it was really sweet, like ice cream, but unfortunately she's gone now. We have another lemongrass. We have about, we have 3, I think. Yeah, one on the side of the house. When I got this one, I think they really like the shade, but this is the sunniest side of the house, so they get a lot of sun. That's why it kind of looks like it's dying, but it's not. We have lychee here. This is the Brewster kind. They have about 4 or 5 different varieties of lychee. You can pronounce it lychee in the Chinese way or lychee in the American way. This will take about, they say if it's grafted, maybe 5 to 10 years to grow fruit. If it's grown from a seed, the tree will be much bigger, and the fruit might be bigger as well, but that takes about 20 years. So I was like, I ain't got 20 years. I'm not waiting until I'm 40 years old to get fruit. I just got this from a nursery, and I think I got this one from Walmart. I got this one from Walmart, and I was like, what the heck? Why are they selling this? People don't know what this is, because it's like a rare tree. So yeah, I got this one, and I was like, okay, this is a good deal. I'm gonna put it in my backyard, and it's been growing pretty well ever since I put it in here. This is Longan. She is a sister of the lychee family. It's like a brown, small fruit with a seed inside. It's pretty sweet. My sister doesn't like it. I guess you have to acquire the taste, but it's very popular and very expensive fruit. Yeah, you can see little leaves are growing here. These kind of started recently. And then we have my dying and living, what is this, a bong, I don't even know. I'll put the name here. So this thing dies every summer, and then once it hits a temperature of like 70, 60, 50 degrees, it starts flowering again. So eventually I'm going to put this in the ground so it can get huge, like these palm trees in the back. But for right now it's in the pot, and we've had this for 5 years, 4 years. And this is my other dragon fruit. We have, I think, 1 plant here, and what's great about dragon fruit is you can just chop it, put it in the sun for a week, and then plant it back in here, and it'll start growing a whole nother tree. So they're very easy to propagate and, you know, give it to a friend, and they can start their own collection of dragon fruit. And then we just have some flowers around the base down here. Yeah, these are the flowers. And we have 1 sad looking basil plant that's growing a baby at the bottom. This is one of my very first rose plants. It just lost about 5 buds of roses, but this is the burgundy color. These ones have a scent to them, so they're very sweet, unlike the roses that you get at Walmart or Publix. These are very nice. And then we have starfruit. This starfruit can be sour or it can be sweet. We are taking a 50-50 chance here. We're gonna let it grow for 20 years, and then we're gonna decide whether or not we wanna cut it down. A coworker brought me a starfruit, and his was kind of on the sour side. Some people like that, but I'm more of a sweet girl. And sometimes we get starfruit from the flea market, and it's really, really sweet. I'm hoping this one takes after that one. I'm not sure what kind of seed, or if this is grafted, who knows. Because when you get it from places like that, they're just sold by people, and they're like, here, have it for 20 bucks. I was like, okay. And this is my white roses. They have a very good scent. You'll see bees around here, you know, pollinating them. I didn't water this one for a week, and they're supposed to water it every day, so I think that's why it's kind of wilting a little bit. And then we have my lemon tree. This one's looking kind of sad right now because it's winter time. But I grew this one from a seed from Walmart. I took a lemon one day for my salad or whatever, and then I was like, okay, I'm just gonna throw this in a pot to see if it grows. And then boom, it like exploded. Anything that's green is new growth. Like we have a lot in the back, and this has spikes on it because its ancestry animals would like to take the fruit in the wild, so the tree developed spikes so that it can ward off animals and provide fruit to the humans. That's true. And then we have this one I picked up today. Very beautiful roses, and they smell amazing. They also have thorns on it. I cut myself earlier a little bit. And I asked the guy, he said they usually have most of the roses in February. So if you're trying to get roses like this, I'd recommend getting them in February through March. That's Valentine's season. And they said this grows to about 5 to 6 feet once it's planted in the ground. So once springtime hits, we're probably gonna dig a hole and put it right into the ground so it can grow. And then we have the Sweetheart variety of lychee. This one is the bigger fruit for lychee. It's the same taste as Brewster, maybe a little different, but it's the bigger one. It's the most expensive kind. I got this one from a nursery, so someone who actually specializes in developing strong, healthy trees. So hopefully it, you know, does better than the Walmart one that I got, because who knows where that came from. And then we have the other pink, darker pink roses here that will kind of help with the pollination of the fruit trees. This one smells really good as well. It has about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different roses on it. And they said to fertilize these with the plant food, which is the green pellets in here, for like once a year. And he recently just did it, so he's like, don't put any more, or else the whole plant's gonna die and you're gonna come back at me saying, what happened, what happened? And I'm gonna say, I told you not to fertilize it, and now you're screwed. So, yep, that one's doing good. Let me show you the side yard where I have my other plants. And this one is I think it's lychee or a longan that I grew from seed. There's about 3 or 4 different ones in here. And then I have another lemongrass. And then my goal was to have pineapple plants going all the way down. That kind of stopped with warranty and stuff because they had to chip the sides off the house, and then they had to re-stucco, and then now they have to repaint. So we're kind of like on hold with that progress. Once they paint again, then we're gonna, you know, fix the weed mesh that we put down, put rocks, and then the pineapples all the way down. And these were grown from a pineapple that I got from Walmart. So they take about 2 years to produce fruit, and then every year after that they'll produce one. This is a very vitamin nutrient plant. The leaves here, you can eat them. I'll eat it here for the camera. These have a lot of vitamin C. The guy told me when I bought it, like 5 oranges worth. So if you're ever sick, you should be eating the leaves. Before I started gardening, I was like, people eat leaves off plants, like they don't just eat the fruit, which was kind of strange to me, but people will eat the bark, they'll eat the branches, and they'll eat the leaves in other countries. America, for some reason, we don't do that, we just take pills. But I'm more of the, I'm gonna try and live off the plants before I take a Tylenol type of girl. And then I have my beautiful rosemary here. When I bought her, she was like this tall, and then you can see she's missing a lot of leaves here. This is because when they were doing our patio, a lot of that concrete dust sprayed all the plants, and I didn't realize it until all the leaves were dead. And I was like, well, looks like I just like pushed them all off, and then I rinsed off the ones that were kind of, you know, not affected. And it's been growing pretty well. I don't think it's gonna grow anymore, like any taller. But I just kind of gonna keep her here, and I might put her in the raised bed that I showed you guys earlier. I have avocado here. I really hated avocados the way they tasted in the past, but ever since I've been reading like, oh, they're full of fat, they're full of nutrients, I kind of tricked my brain into liking them. And so I just took an avocado seed and I planted it, and it grew this main stem here, and then you can see there's like 2 other ones, so it has babies. I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to separate them because they're probably stunting each other's growth, but I plan on just doing that maybe this springtime, separating them and then putting them in their own individual pots so they have a better chance of survival. But for right now, she's doing good and she's growing tall. This one is, I think it's lychee, because lychee has longer leaves. Longan has more of a wide, short leaf. So this one I've been growing from a seed maybe 2 years, a year now. They are very slow growing plants. That's why it's recommended to get an air grafted or air layered one or a grafted tree, because you're not going to see fruit from that until 20, 30 years, who knows. And then by the time it fruits, you don't know if that seed of the mother plant is going to be good or not. So at least with grafted, you know it's going to taste good and it's going to come and fruit faster. With this, I have no idea what it's going to taste like. It's kind of just my test experiment over here. And then these are my papayas. Ever since that one started dying, I was like, screw it, I'm going to plant a bunch because I need my fruit back. And so I put them all in little pots, and I just started watering them. I think they need bigger pots for their height. That's why they're not doing too well. So eventually I'll have to do that. We recently just built this raised garden bed. It's about 6 feet by 3 feet. And then we used a 2x4 to kind of keep it structurally sound in the 4 corners. We just got some nails, the wood nails from Lowe's, and thank God the guy was nice enough to cut the bed for us, so when we got home all we had to do was screw it together. But we filled it with about 7 bags of soil, and when we were at the store shopping for them, we were like, yeah, this is gonna be enough. Like maybe we're gonna have an extra bag left, but we totally underestimated. This is probably gonna need about 2 to 3 more bags. So we were gonna plant some tomatoes, bell peppers, maybe some strawberries, and then some pollinators in here like marigolds, just so that we can get some butterflies and bees to pollinate the vegetables. But it looks like we're gonna have to wait to go to Lowe's to get some more soil, and then we will sprinkle the seeds in, or we'll start the seeds in one of those seed starter trays and then plant them in once they grow big enough. But I'll show you guys that in the future. But besides that, this is definitely another video. We currently are living without AC because of a recent shooting. We'll definitely cover that in a different video. That is definitely sad because it happened a couple days before Christmas. But yeah, that's unfortunate. Thank you guys for coming along with me today during my garden tour. Hopefully this is a very abundant food forest in the future, growing many fruits so that I can provide and share with the neighbors. As you can see right now, it's just little baby trees. I'll give you guys an update on the garden bed once we put more soil in there, once it actually starts growing fruit.